Judges 10:13-14. But you have forsaken me and served other gods, so I will no longer save you. Go and cry out to the gods you have chosen. Let them save you when you are in trouble. Now I know that doesn't really line up with today's title, but when you think about it in a slightly different way, it does. It shows the manliness of God. It shows his righteous anger that he has. And for me, it gets me pumped up, man. It's like, yeah, go and do that, man. Go and fail while I'm here prosperous, living the righteous life. That seems kind of rude today, but that's just competition. Competition. So good for increasing testosterone. There, I made a good segue. So, today's video is all about how to increase testosterone, right? But let's think about this for a second. Why is it so important to increase it? And what are the best ways to do that? So through this video, I will hope to bring forth the fundamental aspect that testosterone has on every human, but especially young men. And through that, I want to explain why and how to increase it to make sure that you grow into a man, that you're not a little boy anymore. Your voice drops, you get stronger, you start growing hair on your face, you start becoming bigger, right? You start getting more dense bones. These are all benefits, these are all good things that happen when you have higher test. So the number one and most common way that people will tell you to increase testosterone is go to the gym, right? To lift heavy weights. That's why leg day is so important. So stop skipping that. If you do, stop. That's coming from me, and my leg day's on Wednesday and Saturday, so I usually am too busy on Wednesdays, but I'll still figure out a way to get it done because it's a necessary evil. Also, you don't want to walk around with chicken legs, but training heavy, lifting those weights is very important. What it does to your body, it creates this synchronization between effort, hard work, and enjoyment, flooded with endorphins and dopamine, all to culminate in you feeling good and productive. And that's a key point of testosterone. Why it's important to have it high is because it creates this effect of you enjoying hard work. Instead of sitting in your bed scrolling through videos, you actually get up, you go to the gym, you work, you write stuff down, and you enjoy it. It's what you like to do now. But there's a common misconception with the gym, and it's getting explained more now, but lifting heavy weights and doing a bodybuilder type workout is all good, and it will be better than doing nothing. But after a while of just doing that over and over for a long period of time, you will skyrocket your cortisol levels, which will lower your testosterone, because cortisol is a hormone. It uses the same building blocks that testosterone does. So when that goes up, your testosterone has to be lower. That's just how that works. And I know that it seems kind of wishy-washy that doing something that will increase your testosterone will eventually switch and flip on you, but it will. So keep your gym times to under 45 minutes. Be efficient in there. Know what you're doing. Get in, do the work, get out, right? But there's another way of training that not a lot of people talk about, that not a lot of people do, because it has a bad rap. But once you do it, once you start training in this way, doing the hard work every day, getting up, sweating, feeling the drench of sweat, almost like tears falling down your face and all over your clothes. It feels gross, but at the same time, feel a little more alive. So what is this form of training? What is this golden ticket? And that is CrossFit training. Or a different way of saying it is HIIT, high intensity interval training, which is what I do every morning, and then I'll do a more bodybuilding focused workout later in the day. But CrossFit is so important. It gets your heart rate up, which is good for cardio health and endurance. And you're doing all these exercises, man, throwing weights, being very primal. That's what men used to do. In Sparta, as a form of training, the men would do dances, which was essentially just the men sparring each other, wearing loads of heavy equipment, and that would be a wonderful workout. And that's what CrossFit you can do. Me personally, I just use dumbbells. I do like 5 different exercises, wait a minute, do the same 5 again, and do that 5 times, right? So it's 25 of the same movement, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm sweating by the end of it, and it's not fun. So I have to do it first thing in the morning, or I know I will skip out. But again, too much of a good thing is a bad thing, because that also can raise cortisol when you're like going hard, but it will lower soon enough, right? And you need to make sure it's low, because like I said before, when cortisol higher, your testosterone is lower, because your body has a limited supply of cholesterol and other building blocks for hormones, right? And there's different ways of lowering it. There's a new popular pill that you've probably heard of called ashwagandha. It is a super herb that people are claiming that has all of these separate benefits. Now, I'm going to be very transparent with you. I have not tried it myself yet. It's on my Amazon cart. I will buy it as soon as possible and try it out, because the benefits that it can seem to have are so profound. It shatters the understanding of what the food can do, and it shatters the understanding of calories in, calories out, because certain foods can have benefits like ashwagandha, or it can have different benefits of giving you type 2 diabetes, right? Like when you eat a donut or something. So I have not tried it out, but it is said to lower stress, sleep better. Some cases, and mainly in older men, it increases testosterone, but it also lowers cortisol, so that inevitably will, just the way that it works, will increase testosterone, because now there's more supply of cholesterol and other building blocks, right? And another way, like if you don't have ashwagandha, like I don't at the moment, which I will, is just reduce stress normally. So meditate. Go into the canvas of your mind and clear it out. Make it blank. Take that beautiful Bob Ross painting picture and wipe it all away. Now, the way I explained it, I can see that some people may think that the goal of meditation is to not think, but that's not true. It's inevitable that you will think, especially if you're a young man in early to late teen years with the world that we've grown up in. So you will have thoughts, but it's the goal of taking that figment of your imagination in that blank canvas. A little bird of a thought flies into the middle, and you take it, and you'll follow it for a little bit, right? Like a dog, when they see a squirrel, follow it. But eventually you'll realize it. You realize, like, oh, I'm over here. The bird's not even on the canvas anymore, right? So all you gotta do is don't judge it. Don't get mad at yourself. Just stop following the bird. Put the binoculars down. Go back to the center. Every time you do that, it's like 1 rep of meditation, and that is actually how you're supposed to meditate. So we talked about ways to increase it, different lifestyle changes, and this is not the last, but this is another way to stop lowering your testosterone more than increase it, because the bigger problem now is that you don't need to increase it as much as you need to just cut out the things that are lowering it. Because we have the potential, all guys, all men have the potential to have higher levels, right? Some more than others, that's just genetics. But at the meat of it all, at the root of the tree of life, all guys have this root that comes out of the ground full of testosterone that's being cut away by all these different things. And one of those biggest things is plastic. Plastic is everywhere. Now, everyone's heard of these microplastics too. That is a big problem that should be dealt with, right? But that's for the purposes of this video. I'm not going to talk about that. Mainly what I want to say is food and water. If you are drinking from a plastic water bottle, it is shown to stop 90% of your antigen receptors from working. That's 90%. So you could be producing a lot of testosterone, but this plastic is blocking all the antigen receptors, which take the testosterone and put it into the cell, right? So you actually get the benefits of it. You could be at 800, 900, maybe even over 1,000, but still have like man boobs, still have a lot of gyno, because you're drinking from a plastic water bottle. And food too. People eat so much processed food now, and I have no idea where it comes from, right? If you look at the ingredients, no idea what that means. That's problem one. And two is that it comes from horrible places, and it probably has like all this stuff in it that's essentially plastic. It's probably not edible, or maybe it barely is edible, and you just eat it. So you're blocking those receptors again. And another thing, this is a huge problem that I wish the US government would handle by putting in big versions of these filters for town water, because the filtered water that we get comes from the sewers, right? But it's filtered and it's put back into the drinking water. That makes sense, so you stop wasting so much water. You get to just reuse most of it. But a problem with that is that because since contraceptives are so prevalent, which again is another topic, but that should not be the case in the first place, but since they are, especially birth control, every time a woman pees, it goes into the water, and hormones are so small that they cannot be filtered out by what they use to filter things out, right? So it weaves through all of the obstacles and it stays in the water, and then that goes into your sink, and you pour it out, and that little hormone shoots up, comes out the faucet into your drink. And that hormone is birth control, right? Which, by the way, birth control affects men and women the same. And you're ingesting that, and your future wife is ingesting that, which means both of you will probably be infertile very soon. So you need what I need to get to, it costs a lot, but I need it, is a reverse osmosis water filter that takes out 99% of everything, including hormones. So you will have a much better chance of not becoming infertile, which is a good thing. Objectively, that's a good thing, because fertility rates and birth rates are both too low, that the global economy will collapse very soon. Again, a topic for a different video. Now going back to food. Everyone's diet, not everyone, the average American's diet is subhuman food. They're eating like dogs, which again, we should give dogs better food too, but we're eating like that. They go to McDonald's, get that little patty, and that patty's not even made from meat, it's made from like all these different meats that's just churned and comes out like this pus. And they're like, yeah, it's good, tastes good, so who cares, right? It's so not the way to think about that. And they eat cereal for breakfast, and they have ice cream for dessert. And they're eating all of this processed food. And they're overweight, they're fat, and they think they're doing fine. And it's really hard to think about, but most people that I know too live like this. Because there's scientists that are sitting there making sure that this horrible food is as addictive as it can be to make the corporations more money. That makes me super angry because that should not happen. There shouldn't be like these three smart people sitting there be like, oh, this will keep people coming back, so they die at 30. They have no morals, no line that they don't cross, and it makes me very upset. And another huge epidemic is sugar. I've seen real world examples of people that are highly addicted to the point where they cannot stop eating it. And me personally, I don't understand that, because God has given me a gift to be able to flip a switch in my mind to be like, that's gone, I'm not doing that anymore, it's gone. But I've seen people where they can't. And I do struggle in some places like that. Well, it'll be a journey to stop, but I'm still going on that journey. And there's people that physically cannot, even if they want to. They'll lose weight, say that they lost the weight, and then buy the cake as a reward. To anyone that does that, you're stupid. You're taking away all the progress that you just made. Because once you try it, and you've been addicted to it, your mind will crave that more and more and more and more and more, right? So all you've done is, one, eating bad food as a reward. A reward should be to keep going down that same direction. And the reward should be the end result. Remember, delayed gratification. But also, you've had it once, so your brain is like, I want that again, I want that again. Again. So not only did you reward yourself in the wrong way, you completely flipped, and all the progress you made will go back more so in the opposite way. And that's so mad. That's so bad. So that's what you should avoid. Here's what you should eat. It's mainly red meat, because it raises testosterone and is very good, especially fatty red meat like a ribeye steak. So good for you, because high fat is actually good for, like, obviously not, like eating cheeses because they have fat, right? Not that, like nuts, meat, fatty meat, cheese, yogurt, things like that. Eat a high fat diet of those things. And also eat a lot of salt, because salt raises cholesterol, and obviously you don't want it super high, but you need to raise the good, right forms of cholesterol, just because when you have more of that, it will fix your hormone issues, because you'll have more cholesterol, which is a building block of hormones, like we said before. And obviously eat high protein so you can build more muscle and look like a Chad, right? And if you really want to go all in, as I want to, there's a lot of different supplements that you can use. One we already talked about, which is ashwagandha. Another is vitamin D, which I take every day, 2 pills, because you need to have 2,000 UI to get enough vitamin D for you to actually build the testosterone you need. Another one is L-reuteri, or I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but lactobacillus reuteri. I've looked for different places that have that, and the only thing I have found is the coconut cold yogurt already has it, and it's the better way to consume it than pills because it's natural. And the last, it's not really a supplement, but it's just a good food, is honey and royal jelly. For those of you that don't know, royal jelly is what the queen bee eats. And if you get raw unfiltered honey, it should come with royal jelly. That's what I've heard. I don't personally think so because it says honey, not royal jelly. So I don't think that, but there's pills that have that, as well as a Korean red ginseng. And when I will also get those will also raise testosterone levels. Thanks for listening to me, and I hope this has been really helpful. And hopefully, when you raise your testosterone, like I said before, you will like the good work, you will like the grind, because when you grind like a man, you will become a legend.